Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, it is time for another award-winning mailbag where people send us questions. This comes from our live shows that we do on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And people super chat us. They use the hashtag Seahawks, and they get their questions in, and we answer them live in real time. You may be wondering, well, how can I be a part of a mailbag? Well, if you subscribe to the channel, you know when we go live. So whether it's for the draft or our live shows during the week, you will be the first to know when you subscribe and turn on notifications that we are doing a live show and we're answering your questions. It is a palooza. It is a hell of a time here on Seahawks Today. If you're not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe for free today. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Pablo with a $50 super chat. Bang! Thank you, Pablo, for that. If the Seahawks draft Anthony Richardson at the number 5 overall pick, I got to tell you, Pablo, I would be disappointed, not going to lie, if the Seahawks draft Anthony Richardson at number 5 overall. To me, that would be disappointing if the Seahawks go that route, drafting Anthony Richardson at 5, because of all the defensive talent in this draft, and you're a Seahawks team that has shifted over to win-now mode, you need to capitalize on that, especially the help you need in the defense. The Will Andersons, the Jalen Carters, the Tyree Wilsons of the world, one of those guys will be available. I would much prefer one of those guys than a project quarterback who can't play this year in Anthony Richardson. So that's my take personally, but we'll see. Pablo, thanks for the $50 super chat. You're a real one. Taker610 says, Carter would be our best D-line prospect since who? I was thinking about this, and I hope people aren't mad about me saying this, but prospect, of a guy coming out of college, I think you have to go all the way back to Cortez Kennedy, potentially, for how good Jalen Carter is. I mean, he is that talented. The Jalen Carters of the world don't grow on trees. He is that good. To me, that is what we're talking about with the talent that he brings to the table. Let's see. We got more questions for you. Hashtag Seahawks and Super Chat to get your questions in the mailbag. Seahawkin99 says, if Carter and Anderson are both on the board, who should the Seahawks take? It's a great question. And it very well might be this situation because think about this, okay? Let me paint you a scenario that's been discussed when it comes to this Seattle Seahawks draft situation. You could very well have where the top 4 quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You could see Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud go 1, 2, Anthony Richardson and Will Levis go 3, 4, and then Seattle picks at 5, and they have anything they want at that point, right? And then you're like, well, Will Anderson doesn't have the potential character issues that you have with Jalen Carter. And he might be a more talented player potentially. But Jalen Carter fills a more immediate need in something there. I think Seattle would lean towards Jalen Carter. Because remember that meeting that occurred, what was it, about a week ago or so? We didn't hear anything negative to come out of that meeting. If they were not interested in Jalen Carter, if that meeting did not go well, something would have leaked. We would have heard something. At this point, at the time of this recording, we haven't heard anything. So I think that Jalen Carter would be the pick. But I'd be happy with either guy. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, to be quite frank with you. Pick one to draft, Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. If you had to choose between one of those two, let me know which guy you would prefer. J for Jalen Carter, W for Will Anderson. Tell me in the comments section below. David writes, what should we do at nose tackle? Very good question. What should the Seahawks do at the nose tackle spot? I think that when you look at this defensive line, you're going to see on the D-line Jarran Reed, Draymond Jones plugging up 2 spots. And then with the other pick, or with the other spot to be filled, could be a Jalen Carter type, somebody along those lines. That's the way I think this goes ultimately. And if that's what your defensive line looks like, Carter as well as Draymond Jones and Jaron Reed, you're feeling pretty dang good as far as I'm concerned. I think that's what the future of this defensive line, best case scenario, is. PNW family checking in. PNW family, quit hating on my guy Mark Sanchez, by the way. PNW family, PNW family's been complaining about the super chats from Mark Sanchez. You could one-up Mark. You could super chat yourself, PNW family. I don't want to hear any more complaining about Mark Sanchez. Mark's my guy. He's a real one. He is the king of Seahawks today. So no more complaining about Mark Sanchez. That's rule number one. But nonetheless, PNW family, thanks for the question. Hashtag Seahawks, unlikely, but if they can get Will Anderson at 5, that'd be great. Then at 20, you take Brian Bresee or the best D tackle on the board. If not, you take Carter. Well, Carter's not going to be around at 20. I can tell you that much. But Brian Bresee, yeah, that could be a possibility. That's an interesting scenario there. I very well could see Seattle in that position, potentially, PNW family, as far as that goes. I'll put it this way, okay? Let me simplify this for you. You kind of got to kick the can to one or the other pretty quickly, right? If you go with defensive tackle at 5, like Jalen Carter, then the edge rusher spot you need to take care of, pretty fast within those first couple of rounds, and vice versa. If you go edge rusher at 5, you need to take care of defensive tackle pretty quick. So yeah, I see what you mean, PNW family. Cam, is that Cam Newton? I don't think so. Cam writes in, Bijan Robinson, a dual threat with his amazing hands and creates missed tackles. Think beast mode, but Bijan mode. Big Tex is here with me. If we can get the 2-box up, I want the people to see, in case they're watching the video-on-demand version, what Big Tex is wearing today. Tex, in case you folks don't know Tex, if you're not part of our live shows, he helps produce our live shows, does a great job. And Tex, there he is. What are you wearing today? Oh, no, it's that awful, ugly, burnt orange. Horns down. But Texer, I'll give you this moment to shine.
Okay.
Let's tell the world about how great Bijan Robinson is. I think Bijan is a generational talent. He is the best running back prospect to come out since Saquon Barkley. I'm not going to lie. I'd be tempted to take him at 20 if he's still hanging around. I know Seattle's got running back covered with Kenneth Walker. They have other needs to take care of. But there is a temptation that comes with a guy that's that good. You saw a lot of him. He is.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy as good as he is. And he was good from when he jumped on board at UT. He's still gotten better every single year.
100%. He had 1,000 yards plus the last 2 seasons rushing. He's a great receiver out of the backfield. He just makes people miss. Between the tackles, he can just make tight cuts. He's got maybe not like top-end speed, but great vision. And I think you'd take that a lot of times over just a really fast running back who can't make tight cuts. And he just makes people miss. You look at his highlights, he breaks so many tackles, it's not even funny. And I think that he would pair well with Geno Smith. I think Geno could throw a lot of touchdowns to him in the end zone with the out of the backfield, wheel route type situation going on there.
Now Cam, I don't know if you saw this, but a couple weeks ago, credit to Big Tex here actually, there was a graphic that we threw up that we put together comparing the numbers. I know that there's kind of different running styles between Bijan and Beast Mode Marshawn Lynch. But when you look at the statistics of like 40 time, broad jump, vertical jump, those things, height and weight, they're almost identical.
Yeah, they're like the same. It's wild.
It's crazy.
It's almost like y'all should draft Bijan.
So Cam, Bijan's unbelievable. I like Bijan a lot. I know Seattle's got other things to take care of, but it would be, if he's there at 20, it would be hard to say no. I'll put it that way because of just how good he is, out of respect to Bijan. But as a Big 12 fan, somebody who went to Kansas, grew up in Oklahoma, I do have to put the horns down, though. So no disrespect to Bijan. That's just for all the UT people out there, including Tex. Thank you, Tex. Moving on. Supersonics RIP. How about the Kraken, though? Kraken in the playoffs. Go Kraken. What should the Seahawks draft at 20? Well, I'm glad you asked, Supersonics RIP. We just talked about Bijan. He'll be on the board. I think the likely pick, there's two names in particular. Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa, Brian Bresee. Those are the two guys, and Miles Murphy, three names. Those are the guys I'm keeping my eye on for that 20th pick. Get your bets in now, but I think if you put a gun to my head, it'd be one of those three at this point in time. So we'll see what ultimately the Seahawks do, but that would be my guess of what they do with that 20th selection. What say you guys? Name a player the Seahawks should draft at 20. Tell me who comes to mind, who you'd like to see be a Seattle Seahawk in a 2023 with that 20th overall pick. Give me one name you'd like to see the Seahawks pick. Folks, we will be live on draft night. We'll get started about an hour before the draft and keep the show going depending on how the night goes. And you will not want to miss it. Myself, I'll be here. Big Tex, who you saw earlier, he's going to be here with me. We're going to have a few drinks in hand. It's going to be a crazy time. You will not want to miss it. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Join us draft night. Check out our draft channel too. YouTube.com/chatNFL. P&W family, who's your favorite team, Tyler? You know I love the Seattle Seahawks. You guys, the 12s. I mean, you guys are incredible. It is my honor, it is my privilege to talk to the 12s each and every day here on Seahawks Today, and I am so excited for the season that's ahead here in 2023. All right, so before we go, I want to hear from you guys. Name a player the Seahawks should draft, whether it's at the beginning of the draft or later, whatever it may be. Tell me in the comments section below who you think the Seahawks should draft.